Good evening, everyone. She's back. Dr. Francis Germany, right here with Ministry, with Dr. Francis Germany, and yours truly. Y'all can call me Pastor Arthur, whatever y'all want to call me. I'm just a servant of God. And I'm excited to be here on tonight with Ministry because we love to give out nuggets and help. Not saying that it's not being done, but when you know you've been called to a thing, then you must do your due diligence. So, welcome, Dr. Francis Germany. How are you this evening?
Amen. Thank you so much. It is such a blessing to be back on air when I'm not here. I really, really miss it. And if I can help it, I won't miss. But I have been under the weather, but thank God that His grace is sufficient for me. In my time of weakness, He gives me strength. And I thank God that I have strength today to be back on the air. And it's just a blessing and a privilege to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, I'm not gonna waste any time. I like to play around because that's who Lady T is. Like I told you, I wear many hats. You can call me Lady T, Pastor T, Mama T, they call me everything with
Yes.
the T.
And
Amen.
and we do as women, we do wear, so many different hats. And it's just a blessing that God gives us the strength and the fortitude to do it. And some of us do it so well as yourself. And so
Well, thank you.
I'm just thankful, like I say, for this opportunity and, to talk about ministry where mental health and ministry intersect. And so, with this next coming week, we're going to be celebrating Veterans Day. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to, just to speak on mental health in our veterans, mental health in people that have served in the military or are still serving active duty, um, you know, uh, servicemen. And we
Right.
just want to encourage you that if you're struggling, while you're in there, talk to somebody. You don't have to suffer alone. There's so much help out there now. And not only, the active veterans and veterans, but even people that are transitioning out of active duty back into civilian life. Sometimes that's a hard adjustment and it affects a lot of our veterans. And if we haven't realized it or not, or if the numbers haven't been, publicized enough, there is a high percentage of veterans
Mm.
that are successful in suicide.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Wow.
it is.
Wow.
Um, it is one of um, it the suicide rate among veterans ages 18 to 34 has more than doubled, and
Wow.
the rate of veteran firearm suicide has increased by 65%. And
Wow.
Western
This.
states have increased in veteran suicide rates by 55%. So and this is all since 2001. So
Goodness.
it is going up, it is increasing. And so we have to make sure that we have resources, and we let the veterans know that there are resources out there. There's resources available, and you don't have to suffer in silence, and you don't have to suffer alone. And
Absolutely.
suicide is actually the second leading cause of death for post 9/11 veterans.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Woo.
it it,
That's
it is high. It
right.
really is. And there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's just, not being and it's just like a person, that's been in prison and coming out, and it's hard to adjust to life, outside of, what they have been used to. And so it gets to be a struggle. But there's programs that are being put out and put in place to help those that are transitioning from, that military lifestyle to civilian life. And just, you don't have to suffer in silence, and you don't have to think that you're by yourself, that you're alone. There are veteran groups that are available to help. The VA has plenty of resources in programs available. Just reach out. Just don't think that you have to go through this by yourself and that you're alone, because you're not. And there's people that are willing to walk through this transition with you, or walk through, this difficult time with you. And a lot of the veterans that do become more suicidal, they have likely suffered some type of PTSD, some type of trauma, and they're trying to live through that trauma. And sometimes they don't feel like, it's worth it, that they can't, do anything about, what they're seeing and what they're feeling, what they're going through with the trauma that they've experienced. And so they feel that, there's no hope, but there is hope. There is
Yes. I
hope.
wonder, Dr. Francis, if we can get some veterans on here to talk about, some of the things that they've overcome, and some that have faced, maybe they were at the point of suicide, and they were able to get the help, because there are a lot of people, even though we think they should know that there's help out there for veterans, they don't know that there is help, and they're suffering out there alone. And they need to know that they're appreciated, you know, and that we
Absolutely.
haven't thrown them away, as they have sacrificed their life, their time away from their family, their kids. They feel acclimated in one area, and then they feel like they have failed in a whole bunch of other areas. And so I think it's very important that we reach out to our veterans, especially those of us who are
Absolutely.
close to those who are serving now, who have served.
Yes, and especially because they can't get the images, especially if they were wartime and they served in Afghanistan, and they, served in Kuwait, or some of the places that, they were active in war. They went to Jordan. And my grandson, he's only 22, but he actually experienced active fighting. He had to go to Jordan. And he said they were bombing them, and different other thing was what, different things were coming at them. And he's only 22. So I'm already trying to talk with him, and steer him in the direction to get the help that he needs, because I don't want him to be a statistic. And so, just like I don't
Absolutely.
want him to be a statistic, we've had enough statistics already. So, just one is too many. So, if I can do whatever I can to help, get the message out, and get the resources out, to let them know where to go, what to do, that's what I will do. Use the platform that you guys have allowed me to help get those resources out, to let them know, there is help, and help is right there waiting for you. And another thing that I've research is showing us that the rate of suicide for veterans in the LGBTQ plus community is
Mhm.
times higher than
Mm.
those that are not, in the community.
Goodness. My goodness.
So we
Wow.
have to have a welcome and an open arm for everybody, to get the treatment, to give the resources to everybody, because everybody matters. I don't care who you are, what you do, your life matters,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it matters. And not only, is it the war that they have to, try to get out of their head. Sometimes it's sexual harassment, and that's for
Mm.
men or women, because
Wow.
men get sexually harassed as well. Men get raped as well, and it's harder for men to report because they feel like, that's not, something that is normal for me, male on male rape. But
Hmm.
it happens.
Right, right, right.
It
Yes.
definitely happens.
Yes.
And so they have this sexual trauma that they have balled up and bottled up, and they're not able to speak on it because they feel less than a man, because this happened to them. And so they're going
Yes.
through it in silence. A lot of people that we see, a lot of our vets that's on the streets, that's, homeless, and that's going through, experiencing drug abuse, substance use. It's not just because they wanted to come home and get on drugs. They're trying to drink away their problems. They're trying to drink away the trauma. They're trying to, to um, erase the pain through substance.
Dedicate. Hmm. Hmm.
They're self-meditating, medicating,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
try to ease the memories, the pain of the memories that they have of whatever trauma that they endured. And it starts a vicious cycle, because the more they use the substance, the more they try to mellow out to just erase, all that pain that they, have locked up. And it's hard to get it out. It's hard to sit and talk to somebody, because I'm supposed to be this person that's in charge. I'm supposed to be this person that's in charge of my life. I was this big vet. I was, this bad person in the army, and I did this and I did that. But then, to see kids killed, or, to see your fellow servicemen, die right before you, or whatever the trauma is. There's all types of trauma that these service people go through. But, just trying to live through it, it's not easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh,
It,
wow. Um, I mean, this is news to me, but I can say this, and I know my son won't be upset with me, but I could see a difference in my son when he returned home. He's not active right now, but you know, I encouraged him to get therapy because I saw the difference. And a lot of times we look at the accolades, we look at the badges that they wear, we look at the positive things that they have done, but we don't know the flip side of that. And it's very important for us that's on the other side that can see. Sometimes they can't see where they are. They just are trying to cope with, being alive. They're just trying to cope with life. And so, and I'm saying this to a lot of parents. Yes, we're excited about what they've done, and we're focusing on that. And then sometimes we overlook, my child is different, or my son is different,
yes.
my dad is different. What is that that's different about them? So we have to help them recognize that it's something going on that's really not that their personality.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's hard to talk about it. It's a hard discussion, but it's worth having, especially if you see that change, and, they come home and they're isolating, or their behavior is not the same. And, they have little quirks about them that are not, quite like their old selves. something likely happened that they may not want to talk about, but we have to encourage them to talk with someone about it. Find
Absolutely.
someone at the VA. They have groups.
Mm-hmm.
They have groups that they can go into and talk about, and especially if you're turning to substance. 1 in 10 U.S. veterans have been diagnosed with a substance abuse disorder. 1 in 10.
1 in 10. Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Yes.
Mm.
And we definitely want to let them know, that they don't have to experience this alone, that there is hope, and just reach out. And let me give a few more statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So in those that are transitioning out of the military back into civilian life, the rate of suicide after separation was 42.2 point per I'm sorry 42.2 per 100,000 among those who separated in 2021.
Wow.
That is 46 for every 100,000 people.
Mm,
More
mm,
than
mm.
40% of veterans say they experience high levels of difficulty when transitioning. And study shows that those individuals are 5 times more likely to experience suicidal ideation.
Mm, mm, mm.
40%. That is a lot.
Yes.
So, when asked if their transition experience were more difficult than expected, 48% of veterans agree. So, transitioning is a very stressful event for veterans, for those that are transitioning out of the
Right.
military into civilian life. It's not easy. We think, oh, they're coming home and they did their tour and they're going to be good. No, sometimes they're not good, and
Mm,
we have to
mm-hmm.
be there encouraging and be a motivation and strength for them in their transition season. Not just thinking they got it all together and they did this and their life is together, and they got it going on. They've spent 30 years in the military and they're coming home and they're going to retire and ease. No, it's a difficult process and it's a difficult period. And we have to, make sure we are there for them in that stressful period. More than 80% of post 9/11 veterans says that the public does not understand the problems that those who have served face in transitioning to civilian life.
That
That is
um
a lot.
absolutely. I was thinking about a lot of veterans because when my dad used to go to the VA, I would sit and talk with them and just listen to their conversations, Um, and a lot of them they just needed to talk it out,
Yeah.
certain things they can't explain, certain things
Mhm.
they can't say because of of the, I guess, the oath that they made or whatever. But we all need a place to release.
Mhm.
Um, and what I was about to say is there are a lot of veterans that our veteran system has failed. There's some good
Yes.
things that the VA system has done, but then there's a lot of our vets that the system has failed. So that's why it's important for us to share the information that they have available for our vets.
Definitely.
Especially those who are out on the streets that need that support to get them back to a healthy place in life or to get them back
Yes.
engaged in life because you know they have stepped out of life.
Right. And as you said, a lot of times the system fails so many of our veterans. They've served and they've been wounded, or they've been, hurt or disabled while serving, and then they come home and they have to fight to get their disability ratings. They
Right.
get denied and denied and denied. And whatever it is that happened to them, it's like, man, I went, served my country, and I did this and I did that, just for them to deny me, what's due me. And it's not fair.
Right.
It's not, right that they have to go through that, but they do. And it makes them feel like, well, what's the use? I've served, my country, and my country won't serve me. But
Hmm. My goodness.
help is available. And here are a few resources before we finish. These are a few resources for you guys. Of course, if you need help and you're in a crisis, call or text 988. There's always someone 24 hours a day, available. But there is a veteran crisis line as well, and it's manned 24 hours a day, and it's 800-273-8255. This is a veteran and military crisis line, and it's confidential. It's 24 hours a day, and you can also text a message to 838-255. And
Now, can you repeat that again?
absolutely.
For those who might be trying to write it down.
Yes, the Veteran Crisis Line, 24 hours a day, 800-273-8255. Or you can even text a message to 838-255. And
Okay.
and then there's the VA's National Center for PTSD, and you can call that. You can also access that through that same number, 800-273-8255. And of course, you can always go to the Department of Veteran Affairs and seek help from the VA hospital, from the um, from the from the VA hospital in your area. And even from you go to the VA center, get your benefits started. And, if you need mental health counseling, they will give you a counselor. Help is available. And, just reach out. Don't suffer in silence, and don't think you have to go through this by yourself. Help is available.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate you, Dr. Francis Germany, for sharing your knowledge of dealing with mental health issues, as well as merging it with ministry, so people know that it's not just you know it's just not spiritual all the time. There are physical things that we have to take care of as well. So continue to bring those things that we need to be made aware of, especially for our veterans. And I know we talk about these things a lot. We hear bits and pieces of it here and there, but you never know who is facing a crisis right now. That person that needs that right now, that person that's looking right now, that needs the help that they've been searching for, but they don't know where to find it. And so I applaud you for taking the time to do the research and to bring your heart to the people to share the information. And so, anyone who may have someone who has been in the military, they've come out, and you've noticed, you don't know what to call it. You just notice that they're different. It could be PTSD, it could be depression, it could be they're
Yes.
suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you encourage them to get the help that they need. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Help is available. And if you can't remember any of the other numbers, dial 988 or even text 988. And someone is available 24/7. Amen. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for
Hi, beautiful ladies. Is there anything I can do to support and spread hope for women's rights? Please tell me. Okay. All
women's
right. We will
rights.
be reaching out to you. Is that at
Okay.
Sean Sullivan? All right, at Sean.
Okay.
So blessings, blessings to you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Also, there are men and women soldiers that have uh, mental issues coming out of transitioning back into civilian life. And so I don't want people to think that we're just talking about men. I know we mentioned it earlier, but yes, we will be reaching out to you, Sean Sullivan.
Yes.
Thank you so
Amen.
much for tuning in. Share, share,
Amen.
share. Again, you can catch us here every Thursday at 6 p.m. to 6:30, sharing information on different topics that we're facing in the world. Uh, Thank you, Dr. Francis Germany, licensed professional counselor here in Houston, Texas. If you are seeking a counselor, there she is. You can reach out to Raise the Praise 100. You can message us, is it messenger or
Yeah,
message? You can
Messenger.
message us.
You can
Y'all know
message
how to get
her
in
on
touch.
Messenger. Message her on Messenger.
Or you can email us at raisethepraise100 at gmail.com. Thank you
Amen.
guys. See you
God
next
bless
week. We
y'all.
love you guys. God
All right.
bless.
God bless. Bye bye.
Bye bye.